guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with 3 book reviews for 3 romances that all 3 release today. So I wanted to do this video because since they were all releasing, I wanted to have reviews up that are kind of more in-depth than my wrap-up was to let you know if you should go ahead and pick up these books or not. They are, 2 out of the 3 are highly anticipated, and 2 of these are ones that were approached to me by the publisher as an e-arc, and then the 3rd one I requested on Edelweiss myself as an e-arc. And so they all released today, and only one of them have I already read a book by. So I am excited, and I will go ahead and get to the video. The first book I have to share with you is probably my most anticipated out of all these 3, and I was very excited when Atria asked me if I wanted to review it, and that is Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. This one is highly anticipated because I loved The Simple Wild last year, and this one's actually a second chance romance, which is a trope that I really love. This is Piper and Kyle's story, and it flashes back actually between the past and the present. The past is when Piper, I believe, is 16, and she is for the first time working at a camp and as a counselor, and she meets Kyle, who's like, you know, those kind of high schoolers who are big man on campus. He's the fun guy. Everyone loves him. He can get away with anything that nobody else would be able to get away with. And she's instantly drawn to him. He has a past with one of the other counselors, but they kind of start flirting from day one and really fall for each other. And obviously it doesn't end well because we have their second chance at love. Fast forwarding, I want to say over 10 years because Piper I think is almost 30. I don't remember the exact timeline that passes, but Piper is now working in her father's company, and she is working her way up to take over her father's position as CEO, and they do something with like buying buildings and construction, stuff like that. And so Piper is leaving the office one day and sees a new security guard, and it's Kyle, and she's like, oh my god, Kyle, and he's like, oh hey, you, and says the completely wrong name, and she is like horrified because she really thought they were in love when they were camp counselors together. It didn't end well. And so now it's their romance, and we keep on flashing back from when they're falling in love to when they're reconnecting in the current day. It was so good. There were some shocking surprises thrown in. It got really more serious near the end, which I did almost shed a couple tears in here. It's just like The Simple Wild, where it's all fun and games romance, but there's also a deeper layer to it, which I really appreciated. I really loved Piper's character. She is a female in a male-dominated workforce, and she's also the daughter of the CEO of the company, so she has to prove herself a lot more than any other male in the company would. So I really enjoyed seeing her really show her strength and ability as a woman in the work industry, and obviously how hard it is for her, and still try to figure out her relationship with this guy that's come back into her life. And flashing back to the past, it really reminded me of a lot of YA books that I love to read. I think this is a great entry point if you are newer to romance. It does still have some more steamy scenes in it, so be aware of that. But if you want to try out a romance that is kind of like a YA romance, this is perfect. I felt like I was reading a YA romance during the flashback parts, and I love that, but I also got my adult romance I love when we flash forwarded to the present when they were trying to figure out if they could still be together or not. It was so good. I love it. It's kind of like the 2 different worlds trope too, where he's the security guard and she is the almost owner of a multi-million-dollar company, and so different sides of the track they both are from, and second chance romance, and it's so cute. I gave this actually a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I feel like I'm gonna bump it up to 5 stars at some point the more I talk about it, because the more I talk about it, the more I forget why I took that star off. I think I did think it was a little bit too insta-lovey, but it made sense with their chemistry and their past, so I think I'm bumping this up to a 5 star. I don't even remember why I didn't, because it was just so good. This one is one I definitely recommend buying today. Next one is one I was actually approached by the publisher to review, and that is Love at First Like by Hannah Orenstein. I hope I'm saying that last name right. Cover's gorgeous. It's got to do with social media. This one and the next book I talk about are both social media heavy books. Eliza actually owns a jewelry shop with her sister in New York City. It's been their dream to open this shop together. They knew they wanted to be entrepreneurs when they went to college, and she grew up at her parents' shop, which is a boat shop, right next to a jewelry shop, and so she always spent time at that jewelry shop and knew that her and her sister wanted to make one of their own. They finally finally did. They're seeing some success, and what she enjoys doing when she's feeling down about being single is she posts pictures of herself with an engagement ring on of their collection, makes a sappy cute quote, and then saves it to the drafts because it makes her feel better. I don't know how that would make you feel better. That would just remind me how single you are, but she does that, and she does that this time when she sees that her ex-boyfriend is getting engaged when he wouldn't commit to her, and she accidentally posts it because she's a little intoxicated. And so things go out of control. Her jewelry shop starts getting a lot more attention and a lot more business because of this fake engagement, and because they are about to hit a roadblock in their jewelry shop and their finances, she decides to play along with it. She gets offers for wedding dress and venues and all this stuff, and she doesn't know how to stop. And so she decides to find a guy to pose as her fiance so she can get married and help her shop. That's the premise. I don't know what I feel about this book. It definitely read much more like general fiction than a romance. I did not like Eliza really at all. I think that she took it way too far and was playing way too much with people's emotions. She starts dating this guy that she doesn't really like, but that she tells she loves him, and she keeps on trying to build this fake relationship with him, and he is totally all into it, and she's trying to convince herself to because it's like the perfect image of a relationship, but she doesn't feel that way about him. But she basically plays with his heart, and I was not all about that at all. I was just thinking, if I were in his place, if you're dating someone and you're falling in love with them and you think that they love you too, and then you realize that they were just pretending because they wanted to be in that relationship and didn't actually have any feelings and didn't actually love you, I would be heartbroken and never be able to trust anybody ever again. And so I thought she was really annoying in that aspect. There wasn't a lot going for the plot. I feel like it was very stagnant the whole time. She didn't really change in her ways. She kind of changed at the end, but still not really. She was still pretty selfish. There wasn't a lot going for the plot. There wasn't a lot going for the character. I didn't really care. Her sister at one point wants to borrow like thousands of dollars from their struggling company for IVF treatment, and I get like infertility is really personal and a really hard thing to deal with, but it was a little unprofessional asking to take money from a company that you already know is struggling to help you with that. That's something that I wasn't a huge fan of as well. This was a huge miss for me. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I think if you're a romance fan, you need to skip this one. If you do like your general fiction of someone trying to navigate the world kind of thing, you might like this better. But as a romance, it was very lacking, and I just didn't really care about the character and her decisions. And a third book that releases today that I went out of my way to find and request because I needed this copy is The Right Swipe by Alisha Rai. I don't know how to say her first name. I think it's Alisha Rai? Either way, this one is a new romance. Obviously it releases today, and it's been super buzzed and hyped, and so I needed a copy. And I recently just finished this, and it is about a woman named Rhiannon who owns a dating app company, kind of like Tinder, and she is dealing with a lot of flack from her past because she was working at another dating app company, didn't leave on good terms, and she started her own with her friend, and now she's going to a conference to try to buy Matchmaker, which is another dating company, and the owner of the company, there were 2 sisters, one passed away, and it's the other one who's very private and doesn't like to be in the public eye, and she has a lot of anxiety about being in the public, so she never makes appearances. So Rhiannon's kind of stalking her to try to see if she can get a deal and buy the company because she's trying to prove herself again as a woman in a male-dominated industry, trying to prove that she is more than capable and more than successful. And so she actually at this conference runs into Samson, who is an ex-football player who left the football field literally on really bad terms because of the drama and the conflict with the concussions. I forget, I think it's like ETC or something, the acronym for it, but where football players are getting concussions and being put in too soon, it's not being dealt with properly, they're dealing with health issues, anger issues afterwards, and dying because of it, and doesn't return, so he's dealing with a lot of stigma about that. And so he is now the new face of Matchmaker, and he is going to be dating women. And guess what? Him and Rhiannon had a one-night fling a few months ago. It was amazing. They were supposed to meet again. Rhiannon never lets people in, and she was really interested in him. And then he ghosts her, which means that he completely cut off contact and never showed up when they were supposed to meet. And so she is obviously really hurt by that, and when she sees him, she is angry. She's like, you, and doesn't even want anything to do with him. he has a reason that he ghosted her. He didn't mean to, something happened, and it's the relationship that takes off from there. Just like Say You'll Still Love Me, in this one we have a really strong female in the work industry who is trying to prove herself. She's trying to put her job first, and she really does. I love that they don't have to make sacrifices for the men with their professional lives. I really enjoyed that. And Rhiannon is a really awesome character. We have two people that are not white. They are diverse characters. Rhiannon, I believe, is black, and Samson is Samoan, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure he is. I think they said that because I just watched Hobbs and Shaw, and The Rock's character is Samoan, so I don't even know what The Rock's ethnicity is in real life. But those are these characters, and I really loved their kind of enemies to lovers, second chance-ish kind of thing, because Rhiannon is definitely not up to giving Samson another chance, but they end up having to work together, so it's kind of like an office romance too, because she's trying to buy the company. And so I really love this. There were really fun bantering moments, and they really get along really well, so I really love that. It was just super cute. I gave it 4 to 5 stars. It wasn't quite like I couldn't put this book down, but it was just a really fun romance about the dating industry, dating in your 30s. I really love this. I give it 4 to 5 stars. I also really love the fact that Samson has his own stuff going on. He's dealing with his own career, he's dealing with his own past, and something else that's come up that he is trying to deal with. I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but I really enjoyed the whole talk about the concussions in the football industry. It reminded me of Fumbled by Alexa Martin. I really, really love that book, so if you like that, you'll probably enjoy this one as well. I recommend picking this up as well. It was really good, and something I think a lot of people who love romance will enjoy. And those are 3 romance reviews for you guys. Let me know down below if you are going to pick them up, or if you've already read one of them. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.